Hello again. Sorry about that small interruption. So where were we? Back to the task. This is the worksheet, or the top of the worksheet that I've shared with you that I'd like you to do. At the top here, you have got the equation already. You will need to learn this in time, but I've put it there just to make life a little bit easier for you. So what you need to do to be able to complete this sheet is, first of all, you need to decide on your species. So just in this column here, you can add the species names. Now, it's okay to just put A to F, so species A, B, C to F, and so on. As what we're going to do is just look at the numbers of individuals found in each species. So for the purpose of this task, you don't need to name your species. If you want to make it a little bit more interesting, you can pick the names of some species. So for example, if you want to think of a habitat such as a woodland compared to a grassland, think of some common species you might find between them. And write those names down here. So, for example, you might want to pick dandelions or buttercups or blackbirds or an oak trees. Is a really good opportunity for you to look up the binomial classification names. So I think I'm right in saying an oak tree is a Quercus robur, for example. So a good opportunity to practice those and write those in here if you want to. What you will need to do then is come up with a number of individuals within each species. So I'd like you to randomize this. And how I'd like you to do that is, if you have a dice or two dice, roll your dice so that you've got two different numbers and then times those numbers together. If you roll a 2 and a 3, you would have 6 for species A. If you haven't got a dice, there are some random number generators online, quite a few of them. I've put a link to one here. I'm not endorsing it, it's just one I happen to have found that worked quite well for me. So once you do that, you will be able to complete the rest of the table. So once you've got your number of species, you'll be able to work out your n-1 and then your n times n-1 for all the species, with the final bit here being the sum of those values. So that is all of the underneath bit of this formula here. To work out the top bit of your formula, this is actually the total number of organisms in all of the species. So you've got to add up all of these here in the second column to find the value of your capital N. So if you've got 320 there, your N will be 320 and it will be times 319 n-1. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So once you've done it for one habitat, repeat for the second habitat, give yourself a good chance to practice at it, and then have a look at what the difference is between the species diversity between your two imaginary habitats and compare them for me. Okay, that's all I want you to do for this lesson. Thank you. So when you've done both of those, if you could submit your tasks from going through the PowerPoint, so your definitions, and little tasks that we did along the way, along with these two forms and your little summary there about which one's got the highest species diversity, submit them to Teams for me, please, like you have done all your other work. That would be great. I'd just like to say thanks again for all the hard work you've been doing. You've been brilliant. This is the last lesson for this half term, so thank you so much for your work today. Once you've got this submitted, I just want you to have a relax, have a really good half term, and I look forward to being back in touch with you after you've had a bit of a break. Okay, thank you. Take care.